Hello, my name is Ben and welcome to What Can It Earn, a series where I play 25 battles in World of Tanks Console Edition in a particular tank and share with you the highlights of those battles, followed by a short summary of my silver earnings in those games. I've tracked all my battle data across those 25 games, all solo battles with no ops turned on, and will give you a summary of the most interesting parts at the end of this video. Premium tanks in World of Tanks are a great way to make loads of silver, and this series is aimed to help people to know the difference in silver earnings for different premium tanks, as well as sharing with you an awesome compilation of highlights from those games. Today we're taking a look at the E-25, a tier 7 German premium tank destroyer. This unique little tank relies on its excellent camouflage, high speed and low profile to sneak around the battlefield and catch enemies unaware with its insanely high rate of fire. Its weaknesses lie in its poor armor, though it can be hard to hit in the first place due to its size and speed, and also its low alpha damage and ammo capacity can hold you back. So that's a quick review of the E-25, let's jump in and have a look at the highlights. So welcome back, hopefully you enjoyed those highlights. Now it's time to have a little look at those silver earnings. Now make sure you keep in mind that these earnings are going to differ depending on your skill level in this tank relative to my own. So if you think you're a bit better than I am in this tank, you can expect to make a bit more, and if you think you're not quite as good, you'll probably make a little bit less. I've tried to be completely honest. I've kept the amazing games, I've kept the terrible derpy fail games where I did 200 damage, so I think that should all balance out pretty nicely and give us some pretty useful data to have a look at. So let's jump in. So the E-25 was great fun to drive, as I fully expected it to be. It fits into that category of strange and fairly unique tanks in World of Tanks, and as such is exactly my kind of vehicle to have some fun in. Its playstyle isn't one that I'm as good with as I am in more heavily armoured TDs, but it was still great fun to play with. It also has preferential matchmaking, so we'll only see up to tier 8 tanks. It's great having ridiculous manoeuvrability for a tank destroyer, as well as amazing camo and extremely trollish rate of fire. So how much silver did this thing make? Over the 25 games, it made on average around 47,000 silver per game with a premium account, bringing in a maximum of 83,000 in any one game, and an average silver per hour of 460,000, with an average damage of 1,252. Now, the only other tier 7 I've tested and can compare this to is another tank destroyer, the Su-122-44, which managed to do around 400 more damage per game and almost 10k more silver per game than the E-25. But we have to take that with a pinch of salt, since in the E-25 my average damage was only 1.3 times greater than the average damage for the whole player base on World of Tanks, whereas the Su-122-44 I performed significantly better, doing 1.5 times the expected damage for an average player. So this rough figure of 45 to 55,000 silver per game in a tier 7 premium comes in around 25 to 35,000 less than a tier 8 premium. So a fairly significant drop, but then tier 7 premiums are a lot cheaper than tier 8s and can be a good budget option. So on to my battle performance. Now this was the only tank so far where I've slightly underperformed compared to my overall stats for damage, bringing in 1,252 average damage for this video compared with 1,370 for my overall stats. I was still 300 damage above the average expected damage by the whole player base, but this isn't as big a gap as it has been for most other tanks. My win rate was a little low, but not significantly so I don't think it has too much of an effect on the silver earnings for these games. So what other interesting things came out of this? Well, you probably won't be surprised to hear that it had a very high average assisted damage per game of 528, higher than the Jagdtiger 88 and almost every other tank I've tested. This is due to the extremely high rate of fire, making it an ideal tank to keep people tracked whilst delivering damaging shots in between those tracking shots. The only tank that actually had more assisted damage per game was the KV-5, which is partially due to it being a higher tier and also due to the inadequate penetration of that gun, often making tracking and letting your teammates kill them a more viable tactic than bouncing a lot of shots. The total silver made over the 25 games for the E-25 was 1.1 million with a premium account, compared with around 1.9 to 2 million for most tier 8 premiums, and somewhere around the 800 to 900,000 mark for a tier 5 premium, or at least a tier 5 premium that isn't a Panzer 5.4. So is it a good silver earner? Yeah, it's not bad, it does the job well enough, and the price is good relative to tier 8 premiums. As you move down from tier 8s, you're probably also thinking more about crew training, and it's definitely good at that too. It's excellent fun to drive, and I enjoy using it a lot. If you stick a crew in it with lots of camo perks, it can be extremely trollish, although running out of ammo is a very real possibility. If you'd like to see all the data from these 25 games, then there is a link in the description to a forum topic in which I will share the full set of results for you to take a look at and discuss if you wish. So that's it for this week. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, then please hit the like button and leave a comment, and that helps us to know that we should keep making more of these. We aim to have a new episode out every Friday, so make sure you're subscribed and check back in regularly. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Ben, we're the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.